In this video, I want to talk to you a little bit on how to maintain your focus while you're working every day. So recently, I watched this video by Stephen Bartlett. I believe it's called, he has a channel on YouTube. He's pretty famous in the podcasting world. And he was talking to Kevin O'Leary. You probably recognize that name from Shark Tank. But him and Kevin O'Leary were talking about so rewind a little bit. Kevin O'Leary used to work for Apple back in the day, and he worked for Apple. In the interview, he's saying all this. And back in the day, he worked for Apple, and he worked very closely with Steve Jobs, and he was in charge of all of the education that they had going out. And what he understood was that Steve Jobs was very, very focused on everything he had to do each day. And he would come to Steve often, he said in the video, and tell him, hey, Steve, the customers are wanting this, and the customers need this, and the customers will like this. And he said Steve would say, I'm going to tell the customers what they want. I'm going to tell the customers what they need. And it was just kind of profound the way that he was saying that when he was like recapping the events that happened in history when he worked for them. And the thing that was really critical to me was Steve Jobs was just to that point in his career to where he had such a tap, such a feel on the market that he was serving that he knew what they were going to need next. But I say all that to say one important part that I pulled out of that conversation that Steven had with Kevin was that Steve would say, what are the things that I need to get done today? And he had two categories. And the two categories were signal and noise. So the signal was the thing that you need to focus on that day. Like, what are the things that are what he said was mission critical. What are the things that are important this very day? What are the things that I have to get done to propel me forward to 5, 6, 7 months down the road to where I'm hitting the goals that I have in the long run? And what are the other things that are just noise, like things that aren't going to help us 5, 6, 7 months from now, things that are important but not urgent, things that are necessary but not necessarily going to make or break my day. And ever since I listened to that podcast with Stephen and Kevin, my eyes have been opened on what's mission critical and what is not mission critical, what is signal and what is noise. And it's been eye-opening just to see how much things are just important but not urgent, but at the same time need to be attended to. And I try to start spending my days thinking about, okay, what is one thing that I need to do today to help me get this goal that I have 6, 7 months down the road? Maybe it's, how do I connect with seniors today? So in the spring, when everybody's ready to do senior photos, that they have me as option one in their head. And for the longest time, I was not doing that. I was just trying to make it day by day. I was like, hey, we got this photo job, we need to get it done, and then let's move on to the next thing. But I wasn't really putting the future ahead. There's going to be things that are going to be noise, but it's going to be validated noise that's going to remove you from the signal, which isn't bad. It's not the end of the world if you don't stay on signal all day, but your goal should be to stay on signal all day. And literally, we only have about 18 hours a day to work. We got to sleep. We have to have some time with family. So the most work I can get done literally in a day is probably 18 hours worth of work. The rest of it I have to be sleeping. Or I say 18 hours, it sounds crazy, but I find work just kind of weaves its way into my life. So from the time I wake up, when I'm spending time in my quiet time with the Lord, that's work to me. It's not work, but it's helping me focus. It's helping me center my day. It's helping my spiritual life because my work is what the Lord asked me to do. So I see that time, that relationship, that study as part of developing who I am. So that to me is also work. But I think a lot of us, when I say work, it probably hits you all in a different way because work is typically something that we don't really enjoy. But if you love what you do every little thing that happens increases the amount of joy that you have because you're working for a higher call, for a higher purpose. And that's what I'm trying to stay focused on. So in my 18 hours a day of work or awake time, whatever you want to call it, I find myself trying to do things that help me get towards the things that are down the road. And for us, like I said in the example, for instance, if it's in your photography, what are the things that I'm doing today to block out noise and stay on track with signal? And if you just stop for a minute and think about that and just consider all the things that you could be doing to help yourself stay locked in and stay moving towards the right goal, then you'll be more focused on it, more in tune with where you need to go. Last night I asked Chelsea before I went to small group, I said, do I spend more time entertaining myself? Or we had this discussion. Do I spend more time entertaining myself or educating myself? And I really had to sit down and think, am I mindlessly scrolling on social media too much? Am I sitting down watching Netflix too much? Am I reading things that just entertain me? Am I looking for things that just make me feel good? And the more I sat down and thought about it, I've had a major shift in my life this year from being just wake up, hit the floor, go to the gym, hit the office, and then get after it and just work. And a lot of us would see an entrepreneur as someone who's kind of got it figured out. They work for themselves. It's super easy. It's not. It's not super easy. It's not super fun at times, but it is essential whenever you're running a business to be able to block out the signal, to have the signal and block out the noise. But I'm saying all that because I did find myself before this year just entertaining myself all the time and not necessarily building the temple or this house that the Lord gave me. So I want to make sure that each day I'm doing something that is mission critical for my business and mission critical for the kingdom. I'm not trying to get to a point to where I can't enjoy life or not have anything that entertains me, but I need to do it. I need to do it in moderation. And a big thing for me this year was giving up football. Just not necessarily giving up football, but like not blocking off my calendar to watch every single Chiefs game, or just blocking off my calendar just to make sure I watch the World Series or things like that, because it got to a point to where I was working so much that I couldn't, I had to start blocking things off. And this year I decided that I wasn't going to spend Sundays, Saturdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays watching sports, mainly football, because who doesn't want to watch college football, right? Who doesn't want to watch NFL? Who doesn't want to watch, high school? Like it's fun. It's really, really fun. And I thought to myself, what if I just gave it an opportunity? What if I just surrendered one thing and just try it for 1 year? And Dr. Myron Golden, I've been watching a lot of his videos as well on YouTube, and he kept saying it, just kind of putting little seeds in every other video about wasting time, sitting down watching blah, blah, blah. You're cheering for people who don't even know you, yada, yada. And it kind of just was little seeds for the past, 2 years. And then I said, what the heck, I'll just give it a shot. And this year I did it. I started in pretty much January, started blocking out all the noise that wasn't things that were helping me get towards the goal, that weren't mission critical. I feel like I got a lot more clarity. I opened up a lot of time to start receiving what God had for me, like receiving things that He wanted me to see that I couldn't see because I was too busy focusing my attention on other stuff. And now that I have this clarity and I'm entertaining myself in moderation, life's been a lot easier, because it was just like sports, and then it was like, hey, there's some video games that you're playing that you shouldn't be playing, and I was sitting at church, and I remember I was playing this one game, and if you play this game, it's not the end of the world. Like, I was playing this game, it was kind of like a lot of like gore and just, it was fun, but like it wasn't really appropriate. Like, my kids walked in, I would just turn it off. But it wasn't. It was mainly like, after thinking about it for quite some time, it's like, man, this is just noise. This is not something that's getting me closer to where I need to be in my walk. This is not something that's benefiting me in any way other than entertaining me. And I thought I was going crazy because I was literally cutting out all the things that made me happy. But once I started to get rid of them, I started to remember what true happiness was. What are the things that actually move the needle in the right way? What are the things that give me joy instead of just happiness? And the more I started to remove stuff, the more excited I became about waking up each day and going after the day, and tackling things that I didn't know. I didn't know I could get so much stuff done if I could be locked in. And this video is not just to tell people to, hey, cut off every single entertaining thing you do and just focus on your mission and whatever. This is not a video for that. This video is just to encourage you that, hey, take a little leap of faith, try it, see what happens. If it doesn't transpire into anything, guess what? There's going to be football next year. There's going to be video games. There's always going to be this stuff. I challenge you to just give it a shot, give it a try, and try to lock in on the signal and not the noise, or at least moderate the noise to where it makes the most sense, and moderate, and then focus more on the things that are critical to propel you to the goals that you have in your life. And I feel like doing this, you'll be way more happier, way more joyful, way more locked in, and you'll start to appreciate every minute of every day as a gift that it truly is. Hope this message helps somebody, and thanks for tuning in. All right, peace.